Driven by recent advances in generative AI tools, the proliferation of deep fake content on social media platform has become a recent phenomenon, having grown 550% between 2019 and 2023. Now, this exponential growth has sparked heightened concerns from individuals, organizations, and even governments worldwide, with the World Economic Forum calling deepfakes and disinformation as one of the key global risks. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Analytics Insight, where we dive deep into the ideas, innovations, and challenges shaping the digital world. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, the availability of Gen AI tools creates scale opportunities for bad actors to create deepfake content and exploit vulnerabilities in digital platforms that usually lack preparedness for this new type of risk. So, how can digital platforms and companies adopt a multifaceted approach to assess and mitigate the risks to the users posed by these deepfakes? Let's welcome Pratim Mukherjee, Senior Director of Engineering at McAfee Corporation. Hi Pratim, how are you doing?
Hey Priya, I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you with us on a podcast today, Pratim.
Thank you.
So, of course, the introduction quietly, clearly highlights that, we are going to talk about deep fakes and how the cybersecurity landscape is changing and probably what organizations should do in terms of tackling these new challenges that are emerging in form of deep fakes. But before that, we would like to know more about McAfee Corporation. Of course, I do have an idea about it and I'm sure listeners also. But for some listeners who probably don't have any idea, your insights would be definitely helpful to them. So if you could help us understand more about the company, its specialization, it would be great.
Okay. Thanks for inviting me to this session today. It's really a pleasure to be here. I have worked for McAfee Corporation as you had introduced, and I'm going to talk about the organization. But before we go there, picture this. It's a regular weekend evening. You are online, maybe shopping for a gift or reviewing your portfolio, checking your bank account. It all feels routine, right? Until it isn't. There could be a suspicious link, a phishing page, or almost a real celebrity endorsing a fake investment scam. It looks just real enough. It can fool anyone. Anybody can fall for the trick, right? And that's where McAfee steps in. We make digital presence safe for everyone. We are tackling identity theft, scams, and of course, AI powered deepfakes. We have been in the industry for long enough. It's been many years that we have been detecting malware. But, with the new challenges that are coming, so we are, making ourselves seen in this world where we are blending cutting edge AI, malware landscape with a real understanding of how we live online. It's not just about protection, it's also peace of mind. Knowing someone is watching your back uh, in this world is changing faster than ever. The landscape is not only about malware just compromising through a backdoor. It's also about your social media presence, your life online, and that's what we are trying to protect today.
Great. That's a fantastic overview, Pratim, and thank you for setting the stage of today's conversation. With giving that example and helping us understand the context of our digital lives today. I think we are going to talk more about it moving ahead. And, now that we have a better understanding of the organization's specialization, I'm also excited to dive deeper into your own journey and the contributions that you have been making personally to help drive the overall vision forward. You are an industry veteran in cybersecurity with expertise in threat intelligence, data science, AI, and machine learning, and large scale cloud backend. So, if you could help our listeners understand how has the journey been till date, what triggered your interest at McAfee Corporation, and what exactly is your role towards the company?
Okay, so I'll start with my role. I'm working as Senior Director of Engineering in McAfee, based out of Bangalore. I have been in the cybersecurity industry for more than a decade now. Many moons back, I had graduated in computer science from IIT Kharagpur, and I have been in the software industry for 23 years now, and most of it is now in cybersecurity. In McAfee, my responsibilities include providing a technical and strategic leadership, researching AI models, implementing and rolling out new and exciting products to the market. My role also involves McAfee educate the public, advocate for smarter, safer digital habits. As I mentioned, it's not that only installing a McAfee in your desktop or mobile is going to protect you, right? So it's also about educating the users about the threats that are looming around. So yeah, I'm taking sort of this dual role of technology leadership along with educating people about the new threats that are coming with deepfakes and scams that are all over in social media.
Definitely, that's really insightful, Pratim, and thank you for helping us understand more about your role and how your contributions are shaping, the direction of the company and as well as helping it achieve the long-term vision. And I appreciate you giving us that perspective. Moving ahead, now, when we think of cyber threats, I think most of us are conditioned to think about, ransomware or phishing attacks or even data breaches. And rightly so, those threats are very real. I mean, they're still very real. But something equally, if not more dangerous, is slowly creeping into the mainstream. That is a synthetic media, or as it's popularly known as deepfakes. Now, for those unfamiliar, deepfakes are AI generated audio, video, or images that are designed to look and sound real. We have seen political leaders apparently saying things that never actually said. And we have seen fake videos of celebrities endorsing products they have never heard of. And now we have seen scams where executives appear to request wire transfers via convincing deepfake phone calls. So all of these are looming pretty large in today's digital context. So of course we are seeing that exponential rise. So how serious is this threat today for businesses, individuals, and even governments?
Yeah, it's becoming alarming by the day. What used to be the domain of highly skilled tech experts is now in the hands of just about anyone with a smartphone and few words they're typing into a prompt. Our users must be aware of these large language models, generative AI that have come up with prompts, and with just few sentences, it can generate deepfake content for you. Actually, there are plenty of tutorials available in the internet for creating deepfakes. The consequences are real and they can be personal. We are seeing deepfake ads are being used to scam people. You mentioned about these phone calls that are as if generating for from CEOs, and it's actually pulling people into investing in dubious schemes, impersonate CEOs, twist political narratives, and chip away at our trust in what we see online. For individuals, it can be devastating, from losing life savings to financial fraud, to the deeply disturbing rise of deepfake pornography. And also, you also gave some real life incidents, and I'll mention a few more. So during the last general elections, there were Bollywood actors, and their deepfakes were used to influence voters. Deepfake ads are all over social media. When you're browsing through your social media feed, you see malicious content involving Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Amir Khan, Ranveer Singh, Mukesh Ambani, Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy. You name a celebrity, and they are as if promoting various betting, stock investment scams. And social media messaging platforms are being used to amplify this problem. Those are hotbeds for the rapid spreads of deepfake content. And of course, India is a country of 1.5 billion people, and our mobile penetration is quite high. So there is obviously a multiplier effect. Content are often shared without a second thought, and in some cases with malicious intent. Our research from early 24, before the general elections, found that nearly 1 in 4 Indians said that they had seen a political deepfake and they later realized it was fake. And the public is worried. When asked about the most concerning uses of deepfakes, top three uses were cyberbullying, fake pornographic content, and of course, financial scams. Others flag impersonating of public figures that we mentioned before. Also, erosion of trust in media due to deepfake content being promoted in various channels in the name of news. And there are also instances seen where distortion of historical facts are also being promoted in the media. So it's not just about technology issue anymore. It's becoming a societal one, and it's happening right now.
Yes, definitely. I think I mean, that was really a perspective that you shared was really insightful. And honestly, it underscores just how much the definition of trust is being tested in this digital era. I mean, it's not just about misinformation anymore. It's about the erosion of credibility at every level, whether it's personal reputation or even national security threats. And you know what's particularly concerning is how sophisticated these deepfakes have become, because
Right.
not only visually but also in voice synthesis, I mean, making them harder to detect with the naked eye or ear. So I think we definitely need a multifaceted preparedness a program as to how we can tackle this growing risk. But let's continue unpacking this space, because while this threat is so serious, I'm sure whatever innovations we have in terms of tackling this is also pretty much awesome, I would feel. Like we mentioned that, you know, I mean, it has negative purposes as well, but I think it can be used for positive as well. I mean, on the positive side, it could be used to create more realistic visual effects in movies or to generate realistic simulations for training purposes. And of course, on the negative side, we have discussed how it can spread false information or manipulate public opinion by creating fake videos. So even though someone can fabricate a fake but persuasive video, software engineers, governments, and even journalists can oftentimes still determine if it's real or fake. So, I mean, currently I feel that there is lack of mature detection tools in the market, and um, you know I think we still need more sophisticated tools or platforms to tackle this challenge. So what are some suggestions that may help people and institutions guard against deepfake technologies? I mean, the current detection methods are not enough, so we need to fundamentally rethink how cybersecurity works in this new era. So, what are some suggestions do you think that can help us guard against the deepfake technology?
So we have come up with scam detection, and we have heavily invested in real-time scam and scam detection AI models, including ones that can identify visual and audio manipulation patterns. So in this quarter, we have released McAfee Scam Detector. It's now included in our core plans in US and few other geographies. It's launched in India soon. It's going to be launched in India soon. It uses artificial intelligence to analyze suspicious links, messages, and of course, manipulated audio and video content. It flags potential scams and threats, and we aim to combine speed, context, and explainability. So user are just not only one, but they understand why something looks suspicious.
Right, definitely. So when we're talking about, the maturity of how these tools are in today's age, I think this kind of brings us to a very critical moment in the cybersecurity conversation. Traditional cybersecurity tools were never designed to detect such deepfakes or synthetic media. I mean, firewalls can't tell
Right.
the difference between a real voice or an AI generated voice. And antivirus software won't flag a fake video unless it's hiding malware. So even sophisticated anomaly detection systems don't often catch deepfakes unless they're specifically trained to do so. So, how do we respond in such situations? Well, here's the interesting part. While AI is creating the problem, AI is also our most powerful weapon against it. It's no longer a case of human versus machines. I think it's AI versus AI. So, what kind of AI driven tools or frameworks are emerging to detect or counter deepfakes in real time?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, firewall is a sort of thing of the past. I'd say recent past. It's still relevant today, but cybersecurity is not only dealing with ransomwares, malwares, and phishing sites anymore. It has taken a deep leap with the proliferation of generative AI. It started with text generation, also known as large language models or LLMs, that can write a story or poem for you. Then came image generation, video generation, voice morphing, and it's becoming omnipresent. The possibilities of exploiting these capabilities by threat actors are endless. And we think the best approach today combines AI powered detection along with consumer education. Traditional cybersecurity model, which focus mainly on malware and viruses, now needs to deal with manipulated content. Obviously, it can't be done with technology of the past. You have to detect social engineering. You have to understand where emotional exploitation is going on, and there are AI models that are evolving towards that. Like if we think about AI models that can spot strange eye movements, it can match facial characteristics, it can detect vein or blood flow in your face, to understand, like separate real person talking versus a sort of a morphed person who is talking. There could be weird lighting, there are unnatural synthetic voices, and AI models are getting better at catching defects in real time. Um, and we are making these easy to use for users. Like, not everyone could be familiar with AI or sort of the manipulation that's going on around them. And they have to find that easy to use a tool which can sort of in most cases alert them, and in certain cases take actions on behalf of them. Now obviously it's for the users, like, to take the final call, but it's a sort of like AI and consumer education both together, that's fighting this menace today.
Definitely. And I think what you just shared reinforces the fact that combating deepfakes is no longer optional. I think it's becoming a foundational layer of cybersecurity and information integrity. And while, we are seeing advancements in recent tools, it's equally important for organizations to start embedding them into their daily workflows proactively rather than waiting for a crisis moment. And, like you said, that educating public is also one of the integral part of how we are combating deepfakes, because I think technology race isn't just about having better tool. I think it's about building trust in an environment where people increasingly don't know what to believe. I think about the next election cycle, think about geopolitics, or think about corporate reputation. If fake videos can be used to manipulate stock prices or fuel political unrest or defame individuals, the stakes are incredibly high. So that's why it's cybersecurity is not about protecting IT systems today, it's protecting the very fabric of truth. And when we're talking about this, I think this entire responsibility doesn't fall on cybersecurity teams alone. It's something that must involve everybody, from policymakers to platform owners, media, and yes, even us as individuals. So we will have a role to play in the fight against this misinformation. So, how important is educating the people and the public about misinformation risks alongside, deploying these emerging tech tools as defenses?
As we just discussed, so technology can flag risk, raise red flags, and even block some threats. But at the end of the day, it's the users who make the final call, what to believe, what to share, and how to respond. And it's not only about the enterprises. You have to think about user's digital life. Some corporate CEO also has a personal life. They could be online, and there may be some social engineering going on. They may be receiving a fake phishing link on their email to be legitimately coming from a customer. They may be trying to extract information, and of course financial risks are there. So education is essential for everybody who is online in today's digital world. It's not about detection anymore. It's also about guidance. Uh, at McAfee, we focus a lot in making alerts consumer friendly, not just technical jargons, but real understandable nudges that help people pause and think critically before they click, share, or react. And this is especially important in places like India, where deepfakes are spreading fast, often through social media groups. Many people forward content without realizing it's manipulated. In fact, they are made participants in that effort. That's why media literacy is so crucial right now. There are ways to spot deepfakes, as we discuss, robotic voices, distorted visuals, or content that feels overly emotional or urgent. With sort of like, your digital presence, you will come to know that, hey, these are the things that, tools like McAfee is flagging again and again, and that may turn into a cycle which educates you that these are the patterns of, synthetic voice, or, morphed images, or, synthetic videos. So education will continuously go on in your digital life. But final decision, as we said, it lies with the user. I'd also point out to one related thing. There's an explosion of fake news throughout social media. So just like phishing emails that try to get you to act without thinking, fake news often tries to create a frenzy, right? And these deepfakes are sort of the ideal tools for that. And that's actually the hint to slow down and double check. And if something feels too good to be true, it's not true. It's not just about having the right technology, it's about knowing how to use it and when to trust your instincts.
Very true, and that's such an important perspective. And I'm really glad you highlighted the human element in all of this because, like you mentioned, technology can build the walls and filters, but if people don't recognize the misinformation or they don't trust their instincts when they see it, or they don't understand how easily it can manipulate their emotions and beliefs, then I think we are only fighting half the battle here. So, of course, public education and awareness is really important. Another angle, I want to explore today is the role of regulations. Now, governments around the world are starting to draft policies around synthetic media and deepfake use. But legislation often lags behind innovation, is what I feel. Now, how do we create laws that protect against misuse while preserving the legitimate creative use of AI in media and entertainment? Or how do we distinguish between malicious intent and harmless fun? So I think it's a very thorny issue, but an important one because the answer isn't banning deepfake technology entirely. Now, like I mentioned, there are positive applications too because AI generated voices are helping people who have lost their speech, and deepfake tech is being used in movies to recreate historical scene. So I think the key here lies in context as well as consent. So do you think global regulatory frameworks are evolving fast enough to tackle this AI-driven misinformation, especially deepfakes?
Right. As you just mentioned, right, intent is the key. There have been recent models which sort of create very realistic movie scenes, right? I mean, and these are sort of like innovations of the future, and we have to understand the intent behind that. But at the same time, there are synthetic videos that are being created with sort of like with malicious intent, but we are encouraged by early momentum and in regulatory bodies, and we know defect don't respect borders, and inconsistent rules make it harder to respond effectively. So technology companies, policymakers, and society overall must work together to set smart standards. our Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology conducted multiple consultations with industry stakeholders and social media platforms. They discussed the challenges identified in combating deepfakes. They have issued advisories from time to time. Regulators consider it to be an important issue to address the harms being committed through widespread circulation of misinformation, right? The participants were reminded about compliance with their obligations under IT rules in 2021, and they were advised on countering unlawful content, including malicious synthetic media, to curb deepfakes and promptly remove harmful content online. So it boils down to the intent. Also, point out one more thing, which is the Digital Protection Bill of 23. It could be relevant in protecting user privacy. It doesn't directly addresses this issue, but it may cover some of the data privacy protection part that arises due to targeted deepfake exploitation. We gave the example of celebrities being misused for promoting fake investment scams. They are being maliciously used to ads that are being targeted for financial frauds. So there could be some remedy for that.
Definitely, and I think with evolving time, we might be able to come up with a very sophisticated and a robust remedy where we can balance the positives and negatives of deepfakes with the help of some regulations and government bodies helping shape the future of deepfakes in the coming years. Having said that, my one last question for you, Pratim, would be what are some technologies or trends that you see would shape deepfake detection or prevention in the coming years?
Yeah, as we discussed, artificial intelligence is the key. Generative AI, which is sort of progressing from text to images to videos to audios, and we are going to see new frontiers, and there will be counter models that will stop the exploits that are going in these areas. So I can mention, digital watermarks that show where a photo or video originated. Mention about strange eye movements, facial characteristics, right? So it's like, we in technology world, we call fingerprinting, right? Actually, the meaning is extracting the characteristics of a face, for example, like if it is being morphed or manipulated in some way, is it still maintaining those fingerprints? That's, I think, one research area that's very progressing very fast. We talked about, detecting, blood circulation or blood flow in your face. That could also say, distinguish between a real video against a deepfake video. And voice modulation, right? So obviously voice fingerprinting is another area where your voice could be recorded and fingerprinted, and it may try to find the pattern whether the actual voice matches with the intended user using this fingerprint. So AI models are getting better at catching deepfakes in real time, but it's important to make these tools easy to use. That's why we are focused on building them into features like McAfee scam detector. So you don't have to be a tech expert to stay safe online. It spots and alerts you to scam across email, text, and video, and it's an early warning system. It comes with several products that we are selling, and it's going to be an exciting launch in India. So just can't wait to bring scam detectors to India. Hooray.
Definitely. And I think as you wrap up today's conversation, one thing is clear. The fight against deepfakes and misinformation isn't just a technological battle. I think it's a societal one. AI may be fueling the problem, but it's also offering us the solutions if you're bold enough to embrace them. And it's about shifting from passive defense to proactive, intelligent security strategies. And while the road ahead may seem a little complex, but I think collaboration with innovators, regulators, enterprises, and even individuals, we can build a future where trust is not eroded but reinforced by technology. So thank you so much, Pratim, for your time and effort to come today on our podcast and share some insights that would definitely help our leaders, have a different perspective towards deep fakes. And you've shared us that deepfake era is here, the misinformation has gone digital, but the only way forward is not fear, but more preparedness, more proactive preparedness, and leveraging the very technology that can help us to overcome this challenge and risk today. So thank you so much. For your insights today. It was lovely chatting with you, Pratim.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me today. And I really enjoyed how you presented today. And this is focused towards educating people about sort of the danger and analysis that's going around in their digital world. And I'm hopeful that, people will gain insight from this session.
Definitely, Pratim. Thank you so much. So, this is for our listeners. I think the era of AI fighting AI has already begun. The real question is how prepared are we to lead that charge? Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next episode of Analytics Insight podcast. You can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.